Now, the next thing I want us to do is that before we can start coding out our different tasks, we need to connect Visual Studio Code to our EC2. Remember that we provisioned our EC2, and let us connect our Visual Studio Code to that EC2. And for you to be able to do that, I quickly go ahead right now and watch this video, guys. I'll put the link to this video in the description below. Okay, I already showed you how you can remotely SSH or connect Visual Studio Code to AWS EC2. Okay, so watch this video. It's not a long video, it's 23 minutes. Okay, so watch this video so that you can learn how you can connect your Visual Studio Code to your EC2 instance. I am going to go ahead right now and connect mine, and then I would get back to this video where we'll start creating our task. Okay, all right, see you then. Very good, guys. Now in my own case, I have connected my Visual Studio Code to my EC2 instance. You can see it right here, guys. You can see right here. I've done that. So what I'm going to do right here now is I'm going to come to File, and then I'll say Open Folder. Okay, because I want to open the folder in my EC2 instance. Okay, and then you can see Home Ubuntu. I would say okay, and then this is going to load up my EC2 instance. Basically, it's going to load up the folders. You're going to see it right here. Okay, now you can see it right here now, guys. You can see this is AWS. This is an hidden file, although I can see it here .aws. Okay, you can see that. Remember that we did the configuration, the config, the credentials. You can also explore yours. Go ahead and take a look at what is inside. Okay, yours, but don't change anything right there. I could as well just show you right here. Okay, because I'm going to deactivate these credentials anyways after these projects. Okay, you can see, remember that we had our region to be US West 2, and then we add our credentials, access key, and our secret access key. Remember when we did the AWS configure, this was what happened. Okay, when we did AWS configure, that created this folder for us, and then this config and these credential files, and then you put all those data that we entered inside there. Okay, and this is going to be needed for Airflow to be able to have access to our AWS accounts. Okay, that is what is going to help us to do that. And then one thing also you need to also then look at right here, you can see now we also have Airflow folder because we have installed our Airflow. Okay, now if you come right here to this config, airflow.config, now see what we have right here, guys. Let me bring this down, or better still, I think I don't need this today. Let me close this so we have more space. Okay, very good. See something right here, guys. It said the folder where your Airflow pipeline live, mostly likely a subfolder in a code repository. This path must be absolute. This is what is happening, guys. Okay, if you want to run Airflow, right, you need to have a .py file, which is going to be your DAG, right, and that needs to reside in a particular folder. So wherever that file resides, you need to put the path right here. Okay, so in our own case, this folder already, this path already comes when we installed Airflow. This already comes right with this path, home Ubuntu Airflow -dags. We could change this path if we want, or just leave this path. In my case, I want to leave this path. So what I'm going to do right now is I will go to home Ubuntu Airflow. So you can see home Ubuntu. We are in home Ubuntu right here, and this is Airflow. Okay, but there is no DAGs yet. If you open it, no DAGs. So what I will do is I will right click on Airflow, and I will create new folder, and I will say DAGs. Okay, and then I will now put my .py file, which is going to serve as my DAG, because that is how Airflow is going to know where your DAG lives. That is how Airflow is going to know where to run the different tasks. Okay, so I'll come right here, I will right click this, and I'll say new file, and then I'll say redfin underscore analytics.py. I'll say enter. Very good, guys. If you have these, guys, congratulations. You can see that our .py file is inside this path. Again, if you want to use a different path, yes, go ahead and put your .py file in a different path, but just make sure that you update this path. It needs to be absolute, okay? But in this case, we are good to go right here, okay? Very good, guys. Now we have our .py file, okay? Now let's start developing our task right here. The first task we want to do right here, if you come back to our architecture, we want to have something of such like this that is going to be like an entry point to our DAG. You don't have to do it, but you know, it's just something that I think it's good. It helps you to at least have an entry point to your DAG. But before we do that, we have to quickly do a few imports right here. So I will say from Airflow import DAG. Again, this DAG right here also helps Airflow to know that yes, this .py file is where I should be running all the DAGs, okay? Because you need this DAG right here to be imported, okay? Now we are also importing time delta and date time, and then we are also importing dummy operator. If you don't know what operator is, guys, go to this my video right here. This first video in my playlist, that's this one right here, that I explain all these different concepts to you. If you are new to Airflow and you don't really understand those names yet, go and watch this playlist. I've already done a lot of projects right here for you. Ultimately, this first project, this one explains those initial concepts you first of all need to understand, like providers, like sensors, like operators. You know, I already explained all those right here, okay? Very good. Now that we have that, then the next thing we would like to do is we would like to first of all define our default args. Okay, now let's copy and paste default args. So the default args we're going to be needing, you know, you put owner, you say Airflow, you can put any name, you can put the name of your team, okay? You can put the name of your team. Depends on past, just say false, okay? Because we don't want to depend on past. Start dates, I like to just put today's date that I'm running this project, 11/17/2023. So you can do the same, the date that at which you are running the project, that you are doing this project, just put that date right there, okay? Then email, just put maybe the email of your team or yourself. Email on failure, I'll put false. Email on retry, I put false. I've also done some projects where I put this to be true. You can explore those projects, okay, in that playlist I just told you about. I'll put the link in the description below. Retries, I put 2. Retry delay, I put 10 seconds, okay? Now the next thing I would like to do is that let me instantiate my DAG. Okay, what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to do a copy and paste. Then I will say with DAG, remember that we already import DAG right here, right? So I will just instantiate it right here with DAG, and then you give your DAG an ID. This is my own ID. You can give it whatever ID name that you want, okay? So I'm calling it Redfin Analytics Spark Job DAG. So give it whatever name, that's the DAG ID, and then I'm passing the default args. Remember the default args that we first of all put right here. I'm passing it to this right now, okay? So that Airflow knows all the different settings that I want, okay? Also, I'm putting my catch up to be false right here, okay? Very good, guys. I hope you guys are getting this now, okay? Now the first thing I want to do right here is I want to put my first task. So my first task is going to be a dummy operator. So I call it start pipeline. So I give it a variable name, start pipeline, okay? So remember that I imported the dummy operator right here. Then I give it a task ID. this is the task ID name I want to give it. So this is my first task. Okay, this is not really doing anything. This is just, I'm just using it as an entry point to the project. Okay, if I want, I may also use it as the last point of my DAG. I can call it end pipeline. Okay, and use the same dummy operator. Okay,